It's the True Faith full-time whistle video. Newcastle United won, Watford FC won, and Newcastle have drawn at home on a sunny day at St James's Park against what I thought was a really poor Watford side. Watford, all three games have ended in defeat so far this season. It seemed like a prime opportunity for Steve Bruce and the lads to get a win at home at St James's Park for the first time under the new manager. Just walked back from St James's Park, back to TFHQ in Ousburn here. Seats in the corner today and every week since we've got season tickets there. Atmosphere was okay, particularly second half when Newcastle were really on top of the game for the first kind of 15-20 minutes of that second half, and we didn't get a goal. In fact, we didn't really work Ben Foster enough for me. I thought that the chance Hayden had was a good chance, shot from the edge of the box. Almiron had 3 or 4 good chances today. In fact, I thought Almiron actually scored in the first half because from the other end of the ground, I basically can't tell what goes on at the Leaders NBI side, so bad. But ultimately, it wasn't to be. I thought there were a lot more kind of questions and answers from today's performance. But it's not all bad. We didn't lose unbeaten run, if you want to count the Leicester game as a draw, which I saw the official club account did on Twitter. Bit cheeky that, but 3 performances in a week. A lot of people might have been predicting 3 defeats after the Norwich debacle, and ultimately I thought we played really, really well against Spurs, played all right against Leicester, and we were okay again today. Fabian Schär was very good from the back. There was, Willems had a really good full home debut. I thought he was excellent, certainly better than when he came on against Arsenal and cost for the game. Apart from that, Longstaff doesn't look quite to have reached the levels he hit last season when when he came in and dominated the games that he played alongside Hayden. And it hasn't really come together yet. I think there was chances today to really push on, and my big concern is that Joe Linton is so deep. If you watch the highlights of some of the chances that were had, Joe Linton's kind of 5-10 yards behind the rest of the players because he's coming deep all the time. We're playing a lot of long balls to him from the back, and he's not getting into the box. When he did get the ball in the box in the second half, there was a really strong penalty shot, and he did really well to find half a yard. Looked like he was going to get the shot off. So we have to get the ball to Joe Linton in the box a lot more than we are. What's the solution? I think Almiron is letting us down a little bit. I mean, he's had a good start of the season. He was very good last week at Spurs. Today I felt that he was too deep, too central. If you look at the success of Christian Atsu, and I'm more on him later, Christian Atsu basically stuck to his position on that right-hand side of the front three or left-hand side of the front three, and caused Watford all sorts of problems. Really good partnership with Willems bombing down the wing. On the other side, the right-hand side, Almiron and Kraft, it just didn't really work from an attacking point of view. Though Almiron, he's that kind of player. There was a couple of really good moments from the second half, but he was offside 4 or 5 times in the second half. And I don't really have an issue with him being offside when he's on the shoulder of the last man, when he's trying to gain every possible advantage to get on the long balls and get through. When he's just stood offside when players are passing him, that's not really good enough. He must do better. We need him. We need him to have a good season. He's one of our best players. And I thought John Joe Shelby, I don't know whether he was on the bench or not. Ben tells me here that he wasn't. I thought he would have been introduced in the second half, potentially to try and unlock Watford a little bit, because we did very well, particularly in the second half, maybe after the first 10-15 minutes, until we got to the edge of their penalty box / 20-25 yards out. Once Watford got back in position and were able to be compact, get the matched our formation today, Watford, we really struggled to break them down, and I think we needed that little bit of magic. I would have liked to see Key possibly introduced for that reason as well, because Hayden and Longstaff didn't have bad games by any means, and they were industrious, they got their foot in. It didn't really work in the final third, and I think as well as Christian Atsu played, Saint Maximin is one of those players that's going to really create something or add a bit of spark in the second half, and obviously he's missing for the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is a massive blow. But overall, not a bad point. I don't know whether it's 2 bad teams who were unable to break each other down or we should have won that game. Ben here, who's on the other side of the camera, thinks we should have probably won the game. I'm not so sure. I thought Dubravka made a couple of sharp saves in the second half, whereas Forster did all right coming from his line. We put some good balls into the box, but he hasn't, we haven't actually tested him. It hasn't been a peppering of the opposition goal. And at a time, at a time playing Watford like this, when we really could have turned the screw, if we'd gone at the international break with 6 points from 4 games, I think it would, we'd be hard pressed to find anyone who thought that was a bad start of the season, if not a good start of the season. As it is, a lot of questions yet unanswered about this side, but to give them a little bit of credit, one of the key issues we had under the previous manager was once we went 1-0 down, we often lost games from there, very rarely got back into them. So credit to the lads for coming back into them. A nice finish from Fabian Schär. God knows what he was doing up that end of the pitch, but it's great to see him there, as usual. Once he went off, that's where goal threat gone. Much like Kieran Clark before last season, the goals come from the back, but not a bad result. I think Watford will be happier with the point than Newcastle, and I thought we were probably the better side on the day, albeit playing at home. Really good performance from Christian Atsu. This is a lad who hasn't had a pre-season. This is a lad who, has been injured since the middle of June or whenever they played the African Cup of Nations. Has come in, got thrown in the deep end against Spurs last week, had to come off the bench on Wednesday as well, and then played almost a full game today, and he was a real thorn in Watford's side, and I think he's probably one of our most improved players in the past couple of years. Him and Paul Dummett, who had a solid game at the back as well. But ultimately, a point apiece for Newcastle and Watford. Is it what we wanted? Of course not. Is it the end of the world? No. It would have been good to get that win and maybe have a bit of a free hit at Liverpool next week or 2 weeks' time. As it is, we'll have to go to Liverpool. Talks of big Andy Carroll potentially back in the starting lineup or at least on the bench. That should really add something to our game. And yeah, we'll have Brighton at home after that for the 5:30 game. We're going to have to play better than that, I think, to beat Brighton, who've had a decent start but a couple of ropey results recently. We're not doing enough in the final third at the minute to win games. But Bruce has got a lot of the players now for 2 weeks in training. What can he do with them? How can we unlock defences? There's only one way to find out, and that's by doing it on the pitch. So all in all, not a bad day at St James's Park, but not a good one either. Thanks for watching.